after the game, Mike McDaniel goes up to some of his former players. What was it? Fred Warner, Nick Bosa for sure went over to him and was chopping it up a little bit. Got caught on microphone saying, "So South Florida's nice."
Yeah,
kind of in that Mike McDaniel like wink, wink, nudge, nudge way, like saying, "Hey, to me, I interpret it as, wouldn't you love to play here?
Come on home. Come on home."
And Nick Bosa was very savvy. He knew he was on camera, on microphone, and he just didn't even react and walked away. He's from South Florida. I don't know that he wants to leave the 49ers, but the Niners need to change something. Yeah. And if they don't trade Kyle, which they absolutely should, then the next most valuable person on the team in terms of trades would be probably Nick Bosa. It seems like the Dolphins are interested. What do you think? Trade Bosa to South Beach for 2 1s?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think Bosa would be 100% down. I think they're kind of figuring out, we're not going to win one right now. Like, they figured that out. I feel like that's what they feel like here with 49ers. And absolutely, he's from Florida. It would be a huge boost. Like, you're talking about like a 50% raise on his income because there's no state tax in Florida, and he's from there. That's his home. I think Bosa would be all for it. And if you can get 2 firsts for him, do it. Or maybe get Aaron Brewer and some draft picks back, or send him Debo or something. Make it a package deal. But I think McDaniel would love to have him, and I think Bosa would love to be there. Did you lose something?
I think so too. And I feel like the reason it's the move is because, like, let me get his stats real quick. Like, is he a good player? Absolutely. Are the Niners worse without him? Of course. But he's making $34 million a year. He's got 7 sacks this year. 7. Yeah. So maybe he'll get to 10 this year. Maybe he won't. But, like, he's definitely not living up to his contract. Yeah. And the longer you wait to trade him, the less you get. That's how it works. He's 27 now. So if you traded him now, it would come with a dead cap hit, but you might get 2 first-round picks. If you wait another year and he has another 8-sack season, you're not getting 2 first-round picks. So that's why I would do it right now. And then with one of those first-round picks, you could get another pass rusher. You could get 2 pass rushers.
Here's my question. Like, besides Bosa, Kyle Shanahan is the only other asset the 49ers have that they could trade and get 2 first-round picks for right now. Would you agree? Like, who else would get you 2? Yeah, it's Kyle.
Not Brock.
It's not Brock. It's not.
Not
who else
Debo.
would be? Even Warner wouldn't get you 2 firsts right now, as good as he is.
No,
just the value,
definitely
the value of the position. So even Kittle, like, none of these guys would. But a guy that's been labeled a top pass rusher in the NFL, whether he's delivering or not, this would be the year you want to trade him. Trade a year early before a year late. This would be the best opportunity to get as much draft capital back for a player. If the 49ers are interested in getting draft capital, that's the guy you move on from. And you can save a lot of money in the long run, get 2 first-round draft picks, and maybe find a better guy, or a guy 2 guys that make up for the loss of him.
You know what's interesting is, like, the Niners messed up with Trey Lance. Didn't work. They traded a lot for a guy who was inexperienced and didn't fit their timeline and frankly wasn't the right guy. But that was a long time ago. College football has changed a lot since then. Back then, I mean, in that draft class, every quarterback was a bust.
Yeah.
Except for Trevor Lawrence, who hasn't even done that much. Every single one.
Yeah.
But since then, the transfer portal and I feel like NIL has changed college football so much. 5 years ago, and throughout our entire childhood up until about 5 years ago, a player would have one good year in college football, they'd bounce and try to capitalize on their hype. Now, I mean, there's no reason to do that. You can make money in college. If you're not playing, you can transfer 2-3 times. Like, there's so many opportunities to get all the experience and development you need while making money so that you can enter the NFL ready. And now, like, every single quarterback who was drafted in round 1 this year looks good. All of them. Yeah. They all look ready. They all look good. It's like, well, hold on a second. Now, maybe if the Niners, you want another quarterback, instead of like giving Sam Darnold $40 million a year or Brock Purdy $60 million a year, like, maybe trade Bosa move up and get Cam Ward and get Shedeur Sanders, one of those two guys, like someone who's actually a blue chip prospect and not like maybe he played a season at North Dakota State. Like, no, a real blue chip prospect.
Yeah, I mean, I got to dive in more to these quarterbacks. Tom Jensen, a friend of both of ours, writes for you. He doesn't like any of these quarterbacks, which he's pretty good at this stuff. So I got to dive in myself and see. I have seen Shedeur Sanders. He seems like a headache, man. I'm going to be real, Shedeur. So I don't know enough about these quarterbacks to decide like yet.
I mean, he's thrown 884 passes in college. He's completed 71% of them. He's got 62 touchdown passes, 11 picks. It just feels like a guy who's, I don't know, proven it a little bit. I haven't watched him that much. It's just like that resume compared to Anthony Richardson, Trey Lance, like those guys aren't really being propped up anymore. It's guys who, and he played before he was at Colorado, right? He was at Jackson State. Like he has experience.
I would have to see him more.
I'd have to actually watch him. I don't want to advocate that they trade up for a guy I've never really seen play very much.
Yeah, that's how I feel right now. And seems like a little bit of a distraction with Shedeur. He could end up being great, but there seems to be a lot of media around him and his whole dad thing. And I love Dion. I like Prime, but I just don't know if that's what I want to sign up for necessarily. I got to dive in more. He does have
see the Niners liking him though.
A decent arm. I don't know if he has the best arm, Shedeur. But he's interesting. I'll give you that. I
can see the Niners liking him though because they like those bloodlines: McCaffrey, Bosa, Shanahan, Owens.
They like a certain type.
They like the bloodlines.
Yeah,
they like the bloodlines. I don't know, man. I think it would be interesting if they went up and made a move for a quarterback and they did it with some picks. I think it would be fitting if they did it with Shanahan picks. Like you traded for Trey Lance, let's get those picks back by trading you. And then we'll get the quarterback, the right one.
I just don't trust Kyle to make those decisions.
Me neither.
At all. So if they're going to trade to get if they're going to, my internet is Bootsy. Remember that word?
That. Yeah, Bootsy.
Yeah. No, I was saying that I don't trust Kyle Shanahan to make these decisions at quarterback. So if they're going to go after a quarterback, I would rather have somebody else in charge of that.
Me too. Bill Kennedy says, will Niners have to give up first-round pick for Lance trade?
For Lance trade.
I don't get it. No. Chris Gilbody says, Grant, we can all guess what is going to happen, but in all honesty, what is the likely scenario when the season ends? Do we sack Kyle and John or keep both and start over from the beginning?
They're going to keep them both.
I think they're going to keep them both. They shouldn't, though. Mark Mick says, who's the most tradable asset on the team? I say Bosa, and he's not violent enough, and he doesn't produce. But his hair is pretty, he thinks. Wow, what can we get in the trade? 2 firsts? Yeah, I think 2 firsts. Read right. My mind. Wow, yes.
Mark Mick.
Go get Cam Ward, says Jared Owens.
Gotta watch him. I gotta watch him more.
I'd be down.